left me so broken I could not see. But into your darkness God called my name and told me He was not finished with me. Started with one step in front of the other as I learned to trust Him without giving up. He had a purpose in each disappointment. I look back and know that He was enough. I put my hope in God, my only hope in God. When all my plans are shifting like sand, I run to the rock where I can stand. Now I put my hand in His, because I am sure of this. Whatever the rest, His promise will last. I put my hope in God. Each day I follow the one who has saved me. But sometimes the memories fight for my soul. That's when I stand up and make this confession. My God is able and He's in control. I put my hope in God, my only hope in God. When all of my plans are shifting like sand, I run to the rock where I can stand. Now I put my hand in His, because I am sure of this. Whatever the path, His promise will last. I put my hope in God. I put my hope in God, my only hope in God. When all of my plans are shifting like sand, I run to the rock where I can stand. Now I put my hand in His, because I am sure of this. Whatever the path, His promise will last. I put my hope in God. I put my hope in God. I put my hope in
We're going to continue on in the book of Psalms and looking at the 13th Psalm this morning. Psalm 13. Eugene Peterson, he translated the Bible and called it the Message, a very popular version of the Bible. Eugene Peterson was a Presbyterian pastor for 30 plus years. And he said from time to time, church members would come to him and ask him how to pray. How do I get started when I pray? What do I say? What's appropriate? What's inappropriate? How do I pray to God? It's interesting. I've been in the ministry for almost 30 years, and I never had anyone ask me how to pray. And I figured out why. That's because we're Baptists and we know how to pray. Those Presbyterians don't know, but I'm kidding. That's a joke. Just playing. But Peterson said that he had bought a bunch of just the book of Psalms, just little booklets with all the Psalms in it, no other books of the Bible. He said whenever someone asked him how to pray, he would hand them the book of Psalms and say, pray these. They'll teach you how to pray. And he's right. The Psalms teach us how to pray. The Psalms are filled with one prayer after another from faithful followers who go through all kinds of different things. And by reading these, praying these, over time, we learn how to pray, how to talk to God. And this is especially true with Psalm 13. It's a little psalm, but there's a lot to it. It is the perfect prayer for problems. And I apologize because I got this key thing going with this passage. Perfect prayer for problems. I don't like doing that, but I couldn't help myself with it. But the psalmist is going through a difficulty, has to do with an enemy that's causing trouble for him. And he goes to God in prayer. And the way he prays is a model for us. When we are going through a difficulty, this is a good way to pray. Psalm 13. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I bear pain in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all day long? How long shall my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God. Exclamation point. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep the sleep of death, and my enemy will say, I have prevailed. My foes will rejoice because I am shaken. But I trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. The psalmist opens up with protest, verses 1 and 2. Notice the psalmist doesn't open with any niceties, no greetings. Great and gracious God, Lord of creation. Nothing like that. He just gets right into it. He's agitated, he's upset, he's hurting, he's scared, and he just gets right. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long must you hide your face from me? For how long? He's got a lot of things going on here. He's distressed, he's angry, he's scared, he's upset, and he vents to God. He questions why this is happening to him. Why isn't God here? Why has God not done something about this? And vents to God, opens up, pours his heart out. Now, I've heard people say over the years that you're not supposed to talk this way to God. You're not supposed to say those kinds of things. You're not supposed to get angry with God, or question God, that it's disrespectful, shows a lack of faith. Well, I don't know where they get that, because the Bible is filled with protest to God. lots of faithful people in the Bible vent to God. We see it quite a bit in Psalms. Psalm 88 is another example. We've got Psalm 13, Psalm 88 as well. O Lord, the God who saves me, day and night I cry out before you. You have put me, talking to God, you have put me in the lowest pit, in the darkest depth. Jeremiah, cursed be the day on which I was born. Exclamation point. Why did I come forth from the womb to see toil and sorrow and spend my days in shame? Habakkuk, O Lord, how long shall I cry for help and you will not listen? Or cry to you violence and you will not save? Jesus, while suffering and dying on the cross, he started quoting Psalm 22. My God, why have you forsaken me? The Bible gives us permission to protest to God. Notice though with the psalmist here, he doesn't consider God to be the enemy. The trouble is the enemy. God's who he turns to for help. Protesting to God, venting, lashing out, this does not show a lack of faith. It is an expression of faith. It is talking things out with God, who we feel close enough to do that with. It is an expression of our faith. If we don't believe in God, or don't believe God can help, we're not going to talk to him. So we don't want to be so concerned or so careful about what we say to God when we pray. We just want to keep talking and talking to God. The concern comes when we stop talking to God. That's when we want to be concerned. Psalmist then moves into petition. See, I got that P thing. Praise. Praise is the last thing. Protest, petition. Verses 3 and 4. The psalmist asks God for help. And he's specific in what he hopes God will do. He wants God to listen to him and answer him. He wants God to give him hope, give light to my ears. Give light to my eyes. Give light to my ears. Give light to my eyes. He does not want the enemy to prevail over him. He wants to prevail over the enemy. He doesn't want the enemy gloating around saying, I beat that guy. I got the better of him. Look where he is now. And it gets quite specific as to what he hopes God will do, what he wants to see happen. And we want to follow suit when we turn to God in prayer. Specifically ask what we hope will happen, what we want God to do. We can talk to God and open up to him. God, I'm afraid for my job. We're laying people off. Don't let that happen to me. Please don't let that happen to me. My wife and I are going through a rough patch here. We're starting to go separate ways. Please don't let that happen, Lord. Help us work through this. My friend has COVID. He's really struggling with this. Please completely heal him. This reminds me of a Fred Craddock story. And told Craddock stories for a long time. He's my favorite preacher, and told one for Sunday school this morning as well. He said that he was visiting a hospital one time to see a church member, and he saw a woman in the hall trying to get into the chapel. The chapel was locked. And he found someone with a key and opened it up and helped her get in. Well, he could tell that she was distressed. She was upset. Her hair was a mess. Her clothes were disheveled. And she was moaning and rocking back and forth. He let her know that he was a minister and asked if he could do anything to help. And she let him know what was going on. Her husband had a heart attack, and they didn't know if he was going to live. And so Craddock asked, well, can I pray for him and pray for you? And she said, yes, certainly. Craddock just got started praying. He might have gotten 3 sentences into his prayer when the woman took over for him. Craddock wasn't getting the job done. You've heard of a relief pitcher in baseball? Well, she was a relief prayer for Craddock. She prayed something like this: God, don't take my husband. He is not ready to go. Not ready at all. He hasn't been in church for years. He never prays anymore. Doesn't have anything to do with religion. He's not ready. Don't take him. And besides that, he's the only one with a job. I don't know what I would do. I have no skills. I dropped out of high school to marry him. Please don't take him. And besides that, there's the kids. They don't mind me with him around. If he's gone, they're just going to go wild. Please don't take him, Lord. And Craddock says she wasn't just praying. She was really praying. She grabbed God by the lapels and pleaded with God. We can do that. And then the psalmist finishes up with praise. Verses 5 and 6. And I like the change in tense in verse 5. I don't think all the translations do that, but this one, the NRSV does. And I like that change. It says, but I trusted, it goes from a past tense to a future tense. But I trusted in your steadfast love. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. It's as though, as the psalmist prayed and opened up to God, he remembered how God had helped him in the past. And he had confidence that God was going to help him with what was going on with him now. And ended up wanting to sing praises to God. So the psalmist was going through a difficulty, very upset, agitated, distressed, turned to God, poured his heart out to God, opened up, very honest, asked for God's help, and then ended up feeling better about this situation. That's prayer. I have some personal history with this psalm, Psalm 13. Years ago, a couple of guys, different guys, different times, like years apart, called me up and wanted to talk. They were going through a very low period and even talked about killing themselves. After talking to them for a while and hearing what was going on with them, I said, hey, I want to read something to you. And I got my Bible and I turned to Psalm 13, and I read Psalm 13 to them. Afterwards, they both said this. They said, that is exactly what I'm going through. I didn't know anyone else felt that way too. And I could tell in their voice, through the line, that some light had entered into their situation. Also, a month after Joseph was born, I preached on this passage. I picked it out specifically so that in the sermon I could share what we went through with Joseph's birth. And the church went through it with us, but I want to share from a personal point of view what we went through. Joseph was premature. He was born 10 weeks early. 7 months into the pregnancy, the doctor told us he's dying, he's not getting nourishment, he needs to be born immediately. And she scheduled a C-section for the next morning. In my prayers from that time through the C-section, there was lots of prayers. It was like an ongoing prayer. My prayer was like this. I did not specifically pray Psalm 13, but it was Psalm 13-like. I prayed, Lord, why is this happening? Why does everything have to be so difficult with us? Why is everything a struggle with it? Why can't things be easier, Lord? Please help us here. Let Patty get through this all right. Help the baby. Help him be all right. Let this go well tomorrow. Thank you, Lord, for all you have done for us up to this point, for seeing us through to here. But please let it go well tomorrow. You know I love you. Afterwards, I was still scared. I was still worried as I could be. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I didn't know at all what was going to happen. But a calm entered into me. It didn't take over. I'm not going to say everything's going to be just like the door, but a calm did enter in. I felt a peace. I talked things over with God. And it's as though I've invited him in to the situation, and he's on the job. And I felt better and better about what was happening. I don't think I got to do that without going to God like I did. Let me say this in closing, and I probably don't need to say it. I'm sure I don't need to say it, but I want to say it anyway. When you're going through a difficult time, turn to God in prayer. Talk to him. Open up your heart. Honest. Ask for his help. Believe me, it helps. God helps.